Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fall River Media News. I'm your host, Dave Mead, Fall River Media. Tonight's show is going to be talking about the autistic park, the autistic park that was declined, and let's let's get with it. I'm going to let me see. Go to my Facebook page. Let's see here. We're going to go to a Facebook page. Let's see. New tab. And then we're going to pull it up so that way we can actually get some vision of it. Facebook page. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do right now, so that way we can, it's all right. So there we go, right there. That's what I'm looking for. Let's get to the screen sharing. All right, let's back to this. Yes. So tonight's show is going to be about the autism park. That was basically promised by the by our Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan at one point, and and I looked at the page. Okay, so um, what the state is doing, the state representatives are doing, uh, they are giving, they denied the autism park for young adults. Okay, where that this autistic park would would keep our autistic children safe at the park. Okay, and so the state representatives denied it. And now they gave $1,000 to cats. So why did they deny a autism park? Okay, and give $1,000 to cats? Okay, um, because we um, you know we advocated for this. I advocated for it. Okay, and so that way we can keep our autism children safe in the park. Okay, and many people. I mean, this is just for to keep our autistic kids safe. You know what I'm saying? Our young adults safe in the park. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Okay, um, I have an autistic stepson. I have an autistic grandson. I have two autistic grandsons. Okay, and I'm sure that I would like to keep these kids safe in the park so they're not bullied by other kids. You know what I'm saying? So um, I mean so they denied, okay, an autistic park to give $1,000 to cats, okay, and they gave money to something else. I'm not sure, but $1,000 to cats, and you deny an autistic park for children, right? So I mean, so now, um, we're just out there. I'm out there supporting an autism park. So we are asking our community leaders to support creations of any autistic friendly park where children and teenagers and young adults can play and learn and to enjoy the outdoors in a safe and welcoming environment. Every person deserves a safe place to be belong to. So I mean, it's like every place. I mean, this is a place where the autistic could be safe. You know what I'm saying? Century place. Build a century place for them to, if they feel overwhelmed, they can they can go in, and where it's safe. So I mean, and it goes here. We are welcoming from uh, uh, secret and comfortable park designs and to be people with autism and other development disabilities, and quite centuries areas for those who need a calm environment and safe walking path and comfortable playground equipment, emergency call station, and a good light community programming that encourages exclusive friendship and recreation. I mean, this is a good place to, have they can make an autism park. You know what I'm saying? So let's work together and make it happen. Okay. So we all need to work together and make this happen because again, I mean, I got a grandson, I got two grandsons. Okay. That a step grandson and a grandson that has autism. I have a son that has autism. I have my wife has a friend that her son her son he's autistic too. Every autistic child, okay, needs to be safe in a park, okay. Out of the environment with the regular kids, okay. Play maybe away from the bullies and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable. Instead of going out there giving $1,000 to cats, okay, and I can see giving money to the veterans. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But giving $1,000 to cats and stuff like that, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's start thinking. Let's use some transparency here. Start thinking about our autistic children. Okay, and because it's pretty sad that I have to read that Alan Sylvia and Cal Fiola and Michael Rodrigues. I mean, don't they care about the children on autism spectrum? Do they care? I don't know. Maybe, apparently not. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's hard. It's hard for us. It's hard for them to understand why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the autistic kids ask why. How come does the government care about us? Does they? No, I mean, do we come first? You know what I'm saying? Just because we're on a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Of course, yeah. So, of course, they do come first. Okay. And many people ask me, well, hey, Dave, how come we don't have an autistic park like Mayor Paul Coogan promised? And why did they get turned down by the state representatives? Okay. So why? That's a good question. They gave $1,000 to cats. They gave money to the veterans, which is, I understand that. Okay. So they could have, instead of them giving $1,000 to animals, they could have gave $1,000 to the park. Somebody else could have gave $1,000 and put money towards the park. So that way, I mean, if we can, basically build it. Okay. I mean, it's really a damn shame. Okay. It is. It's a damn shame. Okay. And I'll be the first one to say it. Okay. Because, when you promise to build something, okay, and then you build an autism park, for children, right? I mean, and then all of a sudden you go back on your word, okay. So I mean, it's right. We're out there trying to. I'll be out there. One day outside. I'm trying to think of a day where I can spend some time out in the community and to advocate for, keep advocating for this. Okay, because this park was supposed to happen. Okay, and and the state representatives, it's they gave $1,000 to cats. I can see giving money too to the veterans. That's fine, but the only thing that puzzles me, okay, right now is them giving $1,000 to cats when money could have went towards that park, okay, and plus the light that they put up on the bridge, okay, for uh, 4th of July. I mean, look at all the money they spent on the bridge. They could have spent money, okay, for the autism park for our children, okay? So, I mean, and that's called transparency, okay? That is called transparency. And, and I'm glad, Alan, so I don't know, I don't trust Alan Sylvia because, I mean, he's, and all of a sudden now he's for the audit. So now all of a sudden he's for the audit, and just to keep his seat. No, I mean, if you're gonna be, don't say you're gonna be for the audit, and then all of a sudden when you get your seat back, then all of a sudden you'd say, "Oh well, I am not for the audit." You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, transparency comes a long ways, and something, we're gonna keep fighting for this autism park. Okay, we are going to keep fighting. Okay, for it until we get it. Because once I get the word out there, and once I get the word out there, people are definitely going to be on my side. Families with kids with autism are definitely going to be on the autism community is going to be on my side. That's a definitely. Okay, and let me tell you something, because all I'm doing right now is I am advocating for this park. Okay, that was promised a while ago. Okay, that was actually promised. Okay, to the autistic. So I'm asking, for the community support on this. Okay, because I think well, I don't think, I know. Okay, that the kids that have autism, that they deserve to have a safe space. Okay, for them. Okay, the parks that we have now, they can cut some of that field down. Okay, they can cut some of that field down and make a separate park for them, for these kids that have autism. Okay, the autistic, they need a safe place to go. Okay, they need a safe place to go. They go there. They go down to the park. They hang out. Kids, the bullies down there. The regular kids, they make fun of them, and it's not right. Okay, so I mean, I mean, if you care, and if you care, then let me tell you something. Then you would actually advocate for it to yourself. So, but these kids that have autism, they need a place to go. Okay. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something else here. I haven't been diagnosed yet. Okay, but soon I will be. Okay. And and it troubles me, it bothers me, because these politicians, okay, they promise, the autistic adults and the autistic children, okay, to have a park to go to. Okay, I mean, so why promise something if you can't? Why promise something if you cannot deliver it? You know what I'm saying? And that's troubling. Okay, because knowing that I have a young adult, he's on the autism spectrum. I have a step grandson. I have a grandson that is on the autism spectrum. Okay, and let me tell you, okay, something here. Okay, and it is this here should be a place. Okay, for a young adult with autism. Okay, I and you know and I mean include include the cerebral palsy too. You know what I'm saying? You can include in cerebral palsy too. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones too. Also, they get bullied too as well. Okay, so I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? You know, why not? These kids shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Why be greedy and give $1,000 to cats? So cats have got 9 lives. Cats are not human people. Cats are cats. Okay, you know. I know cats. I know animals are smart. Okay, but $1,000 to cats. I mean, that is pretty. That is pretty. That is pretty. How they say it? It's not reasonable. Cats don't talk. Cats go meow. Dogs go roof roof. Okay, where I mean, you know, autistic. The autistic. Well, we're talking about human beings here. Okay, that they promised that park and they never delivered it. I don't care. I'll keep advocating for that park until I get it. Okay, it's pretty sad though. You know what I'm saying? When you have when somebody like that promises, when the government promise you something, and that when the mayor promised this, oh, I promised. No, you made a promise, okay, to the autistic community, and you broke your promise to them, okay, and it's not right to break promises to the autistic community, okay. We do have an autistic community. Okay, and let me tell you, and you don't go and break promises to them, promises that you can't keep. Okay, and it's really honestly, and then you go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on lights for a bridge. Okay, lights for a bridge. Okay, does that make sense? No, it don't make any sense. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to Cal Fiola either, because Cal Fiola is the one that advocated for it. Okay? Lights for the bridge. Yeah. Spend our tax money to put lights up on a bridge for 4th of July. Okay? That comes once a year, that you're probably never going to ever see those lights again. Okay? Wow. Yeah, I mean, that money could have went towards the autism park for these young adults. So you know what? I do support the audit. Okay, I do support the audit that was supposed to pass that 72%. And you know something? And we will make sure that we do get the audit. Okay, we need that audit because there's money missing somewhere. It's obviously though that they can go, okay, that Cal Fiola, Alan Sylvia, Michael Rodriguez, they can go find all this money, okay, $1,000 for cats, money for lights for the bridge. I mean, it's obviously they can find money for that, but they cannot find money for anything else. Right? So I'm going to keep advocating for this park. So, because this park means a lot to the autistic and, young adults, and they would like to, go and be safe, man. You know what I'm saying? Care about the autistic community. You know what I'm saying? You got to care for them. Every person deserves a place to belong to. You know what I'm saying? It's an autistic park. Same thing with children with cerebral palsy too. Okay, I mean, have some, dignity. The government should have some dignity in their lives and care about the autistic. Okay, and care about people with that are disabled. Okay, a safe place for every children and every young adult. Okay, it matters. Okay, it matters. And and I strongly support this park. And I'm going to tell you, I think the government should do the right thing in that respect. So I got 2 sheets up over here. Okay, I have 2 sheets up over here, and I'm gonna make more of these. And you know what I'm gonna be doing? I'm gonna be out there handing these things out once I get enough. Okay, and and I'm out there asking the community to support this autism park for our autistic community, our autistic children. Okay, so that's what I'm asking. To advocate for this park. Please stand with me, okay, and advocate for this, because something. If you care, and if you if you think, if you are with transparency, then you would help us out, okay, and it is cruel, okay, for our government to not support this and deny an autism park and gave $1,000 out there to cats. That puzzles me every night. Okay, just thinking about it. Just thinking about what this government does. Okay, what it means to me, and what it means to the autistic community. Okay, you know what it means to them? It means a safe place. It means that if they have a safe place, okay, they could hang out and play on a swing or a slide. You know what I'm saying? And and knowing that they're not going to be bullied in a park. So Kennedy Park that park, okay, is a big, huge park. I've been in it. Okay, I know it has a baseball field, but the baseball field could stay where it's at. They could, use half of that land, the park, okay, and make an autism park out of it for the autistic to be safe in. I mean, I want you guys, I mean, I'm totally serious about, doing this and talking about it. Okay. I mean, if you care so much, then, I mean, if you have a child that's is on the autism spectrum, you would actually agree to this. You would actually agree to this. And if you don't, then then there's probably something wrong with you. Okay, and it's sad. Okay, no, I'm being honest about this. Okay, and tonight's show, I'm being straight up front, and I'm not laughing about this. Okay, I'm being serious about it. Okay, you guys, at least do something for the autistic community. That's all. I mean, hey, you do something for the autistic community. Hey, look at, something. What is it? I don't care about my tax money going into this. Okay, I want my tax money going to this autistic community park for the autistic and young adults. Okay, I want it because I like I said, I have grandchildren. Okay, and a step grandchildren, grandson is on autism spectrum, and I have 2 stepsons that are also on autism spectrum. Okay, I strongly support this. Okay, I do strongly support this. This is something that I think and I'm going to tell you, okay, all the families that have children that are on a spectrum, believe me, they will all be on my side. Trust me, because you want to know why? Because they're going to want this park too. Okay, for their kids. I mean, how would you go to a park? How can you go to a park, okay, when you have bullies in a park, okay? And, and your kid's on a swing, he's on a spectrum, and somebody goes up to your son and bullies your son, okay, and pushes him off the swing, okay? I mean, is that right? No, it's not. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong to do. And you know what? I'm not kidding about this. And I'm going to strongly advocate for this. Okay? This is something that these kids, the autism community, they deserve that park. Okay? They deserve that park. And I will have, once I get this started, you'll be surprised how many families with their kids with autism that will be on my side. Okay? And that park will get built. Okay? And let me tell you another one. Okay? Government and the autistic young adults, they ask, does the government care about me? Does the government, if we ask for an autism park, will they give it? You know what that the sad thing is a young adult asking for this park. Okay? A young adult asking, hey, when are we going to get the park? I had an autistic kid come up to me and ask me that question. When are we going to get the park? I didn't have an answer for him. You know why? You know why I didn't have an answer? Because the government promised. Oh, yeah, I did. I had an answer for him. You know what I said to him? I said the government promised to build an autism park, and that was Mayor Paul Coogan. And Mayor Paul Coogan let the autism community down, okay, because he lied about the park. And then all of a sudden now, they give the island Sylvia $1,000. They gave $1,000 to cats. Cats are animals. What about the autistic? They're human beings. Yeah, $1,000. Yeah. Oh, that went straight right up my butt. I'll tell you right now. Okay, when they did that, when you promise to give money to an autistic community and to build the park for them, you don't go back on your promise. You don't go back on your promise. You break promises to these kids, and that's why these kids do what they do. Promises. Wow. You know how many promises I've heard so far off these politicians? I'm going to go back to my youth time, okay? I've heard so many promises from the city council to the mayor, to the governor, to the state representatives, before Alan Sylvia, before Carol Fiola. You know how many promises that they broke? A lot. So, when you promise something, you deliver it. It makes it better on you to deliver than say you're going to do something, say you're going to build an autism park, then don't do it. It's like saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you a check for $50,000," and then next thing you know, you're like, "Okay, well, this person said he's going to give me a check for $50,000, but where is it?" So in other words, that was a lie. I don't know how this government. I don't know how the state representatives could just lie the way they did. Wow. Yeah. Lying is not, something that you really don't want to do. Okay. In that sense, you don't really want to lie because once you start lying, I mean, upcoming enrollments, outdoor safety. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're just asking, the public for their support. You know what I'm saying? And I love when my tax, something. This is great. I love it when my tax dollars would go to a park for autism. I would love it. You know, that's something that I would really want to see. You know what? That's what burns me when the government lies. Okay, when you lie, you get me all fired up. Okay, so honestly, I would you know take my tax dollars and build this park for the kids. You know, people don't want to hear about the park. I mean, because they're shameful. You know, this is what the government does. This is what they want. They want people not to care. People that live in our community. You know what I'm saying? People that live in our community. Not the people that live in Somerset or Westport. The people that live in our community. These are the people I want to see. Okay? These are the people that we the people we want to see some support on this autism park because I think the kids would actually love it. Hey, of course, man. I mean, it's something that I don't want other if you see other communities. Matter of fact, we have a sign up somewhere. I think next to Slade Street, next to Slade and Laurel Street. There's an autism sign up over there. There is. I think there should be autism signs up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said we're advocating for that park, and that park we need. Okay, so I will keep advocating for it until yes, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I keep saying that I'm going to come on Wednesdays, but what I'm doing is that I'm trying to make up the shows that I haven't done. So, but this is today's show that I haven't done. But an autism park would benefit the actually community. Instead of giving $1,000 to cats. Wow. So $1,000 for cats. I mean, that's a joke. Okay. Animals. I love animals. I love cats. I love dogs. I love sea lions. But I don't love sharks. I love dolphins. But the most of it, I love when there's an autism park built for our autism community, for our autism kids. I mean, this is, just, a good support would, um, would help. Let me tell you something. If I had the time, well, I could, I don't know how much is a park, what I'm saying, for autism, but I mean, I'm sure that, they can figure out something, you know, and it's pretty sad that, honestly, truthful, I would love to have that park for those kids. And let me remind you that, having a park like that for those kids would be great. So, you know, it's kind of it's. Oh, I don't know, man. Government sometimes, especially local government, and state and federal government. Okay, I don't know who's worse. I really don't. Okay, but having all this for these young adults would be a honor. It would be. It would be. It would be great to see a autism park. You know, let me tell you something about me. Okay, when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I had nothing. Okay. When I was younger, I had a fire truck. I didn't have real toys to play with. I had a fire truck. That was it. Because that was the only thing I was basically um, into was a fire truck with the ladder going up. You know, and you know my mom, my dad, my grandmother, they always told me, you know, maybe some days you'll have other toys. I said, no, that's okay. That's fine. I'm good. I can settle for what I have now, even if I have to play with the fire truck over and over again. You know what I'm saying? You know, and as I was growing up, I told my mom, I said, mom and grandma, I says, I always wanted to be a fireman. Then she goes, you sure? Then she says, well, I went out and bought you a police car. I says, oh, you did? I says, what kind? She says, oh, yeah, it wasn't much, but it cost $3 in the dollar store. I says, okay, no problem. So I had a police car too. I was playing with that. And, then she says to me, she goes, didn't you say that you wanted to be a fireman? I said, no, now I want to be a police officer. She goes, oh, you changed your mind, huh? I go, oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. You know, and I was like, I said I can be a police officer instead. So why not? You know what I'm saying? She goes, wow. She says, you went from being a fireman to a police officer. I says, well, kind of like really leaving my options open. You know what I'm saying? And then I, seeing all these problems that were going on the street and everything else and stuff. And, you know, um, police officers being corrupt and everything. And I said, nah, I changed my mind, you know. But I did keep the fire department option open. And believe it or not, I really wanted to, but I didn't even get a chance to. But but there was other things that I could have done in the community. I could advocate for. So now here I am today in 2026 advocating for an autism park. Okay. Because, let me tell you something. When I was younger, my family was poor. Okay. My family never didn't have enough money, okay, to support us. Didn't have enough money. I'm going to tell you exactly why. How come I didn't have too many toys like I wanted. And so my family was poor. Okay, we were living off a welfare check. Okay, the only thing we had enough money for is for rent, food, and a little bit of clothes. Okay, we didn't have enough money for toys. We didn't have enough money for other things, and plus a little bit of bills. So when it started snowing out, I think it was a blizzard of 78, I believe. And I went out. My mom asked me, she says, "Hey, Dave, where you going?" I says, "I'll be right back." She says, "It's kind of cold out there." She says, "Make sure you dress up warm, put some boots on and stuff." So I dressed up warm, put some boots on, put a scarf on, went outside. I shoveled a driveway out, came back with $190. I says, "Here, Mom, there's the $190. She says, "What's that for?" She says, "Where'd you get that money?" I says, "Well, I went out there and I shoveled somebody's driveway. They paid me $190. She says, "Wow." She said, "No." She says, "Here, you can basically have that for yourself." So I said to her, I said, "Mom," I said, "it's for the family." So she goes, "Oh, okay." I said, "You can put that aside." She says, "Ain't you going to eat dinner?" I said, "No, I'll be right back." She said, "Where you going?" She said, "I'm going to go over to the hardware store." So I went over to the hardware store, and I would actually keep telling this story because this is a very interesting story um, that always being told for to many people. I went to the hardware store, walked into the hardware store with my shovel. Guy says, "Hey, Dave, can I help you?" I said, "Oh, just coming in here to ask if you want sidewalk shoveled." At first, he said no, but after I was done telling him the story about my family having being poor and stuff, and he says, "Okay." He says, "Can you do me a favor?" He says, "Can you go out there, just shovel the front and just a little bit up the side, then come back in because I want to talk to you." So I shoveled everything. Then I went back in. I goes, "Yes." I says, You said you wanted to talk to me." He goes, "Oh yeah." He says, "I got, he says, I know your mom very well." And he says, "I know you very well." And he said to me, he says, "Call your mom and put your mom and put your mom on the phone. I want to talk to your mom." So I says, "All right, fine." So he asked my mother. He says, "Look," he says, "my mom was Mrs. Mead at the time before she got married twice, and she said, and he says, look, I got property, I'm saying, I got cars, I got houses, I got work for him to do because he needs to make money." So my mom he put me on the phone with my mom. My mom says, "Okay, you're gonna be okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be fine." You know what I'm saying? So I went where we went. He closed up his shop. We went to his house. His wife came home from work. He says, the wife says, hey, honey, who's this young man? He says, this young man just, came into my shop and told me a story about him being poor, and they don't have that much money. I did grow up poor, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? And then later, and he said to me, he goes, all right, he says, if you want all the tools, there's the tools, they're all in my garage over there. He says, I'll go over there with you. And, the brushes and stuff like that and everything. He said, just clean up. He says, all these cars are mine, my son's, my wife's, my daughter's and stuff. I says, oh, Jesus. So I'm like, okay. He says, you can actually just, clean all these cars. And then when you're done cleaning the cars and the little lot, he says, just, work your way, up on the side of the house. So after I was done, I worked my way up and I cleaned the side of the house. And then the wife says, hey, look out the window, see where the young man is, and ask him if he wants to come up and eat dinner with us. So yeah, and she goes, hey, do you want to eat? He says, you want to eat dinner with us? She said, you come up here, keep warm, eat dinner with us, and one of us will actually bring you home. So I went upstairs, and we had chicken, mashed potatoes, we had dinner upstairs, and he goes, everything all clean? I said, yeah, sure. Then he goes, all right. So he said, when we're all done eating and we're all done having drinks and stuff like that, and he goes, okay. And the wife says, which one of you is going to bring this young man home? So the husband says, look, I brought him here, so I'm going to bring him back. So the wife said, all right, no problem. So he says, first I'm got to go inside the bedroom and everything else and stuff. So he went inside the bedroom, pulled out a white envelope with about $350 in it. I went, wow, $350. I said, for all this, the store and everything else and stuff. I said, thank you. I said, something, this is going to help us a lot. I said, thank you. I says, it's going to help us a lot. It's going to put more food on the table. It's going to, pay some of the bills, buy some more clothes, maybe buy me some toys. You know what I'm saying? Too, as well. A little bit of toys. Yeah, whatever, maybe a little bit of clothes or something, And let me tell you, I went home, I gave the money. My mom said, this is your money. She says, even the 190 is yours. I said, no. I said, the whole family, the whole entire family. I said, we need this money for the whole entire family, not just me, not just you. Everybody's got to eat, right? Everybody that lives in this household has to eat. So, and then later, later we end up paying some of the bills. A little bit more money kicked in after that. And then we started paying a little bit more bills, and then the bills got paid. Rent got paid. We end up getting a little bit more clothes. But I'll tell you, I was satisfied for what I had already, but I helped, and I brought this whole entire. I brought my mom, my whole entire Mead family up, up. You know what I'm saying, and got did everything we did. I did everything we can to actually help. Okay, let me tell you something. Now we got what we need, but that's why. Okay. And this is why, okay, that I do what I do to support this autism park. Okay. That's why I support this. Okay. Because I want the autism community, the autism adults to have a park like this. It's for them, not for me. It's for the autistic adults community. Okay, them are the ones that deserve that park. They deserve it. Okay, they do deserve that autism park. Okay, and when I say that they deserve it, they deserve it. That's to keep them safe. Okay, so that way they're not bullied. Instead of giving $1,000 to cats, help the autistic community build that park for them. Stop lying to these kids. And I'm talking about Alan Sylvia. I'm talking about Cal Viola. I'm talking about Michael Rodriguez. Stop lying to these kids. You guys got the money. You guys found money for cats. $1,000 for cats. Wow, interesting. But you couldn't find any money to build this damn park for these kids. Wow. Way to go. Way to damn go. The state, local government, I don't know who's bad. I don't know. State, local government, federal, I don't know who's bad. I think it's the state. I think it's the state mostly. And they don't want the audit, but they found money to put up lights. Ain't that convenient? Put up lights. What they need lights for? On a bridge. Wow. But they couldn't come up with money for an autism park. That's why Cal Viola don't deserve to have his seat. Alan Sylvia don't deserve to have his seat. Senator Michael Rodriguez don't deserve to have his seat. Okay? And Linda Pereira, she doesn't deserve to have her seat either because she supported those lights. Come on, man. And that's a woman that used to work for the Department of DCF. She used to be a prosecutor. And she knew she was always for the autism the community all the time. The autism community loved her. But now they're disappointed because she supported because Linda Pereira supported those lights. And so did Mayor Paul Coogan when he's the one that promised to build that park for those kids. Outstanding. Scumbag politicians. For real. Scumbag Democratic politicians. You people don't deserve your seats. Okay. And, Alan Sylvia, Cal Viola, you people don't deserve your seats. You should lose. You don't deserve them. They're just scumbags. You piss the autistic community off. They ask all the time, wow, why does why is how come we don't have an autism park where we can be safe? Autistic kids are asking that question. Damn you people. Scumbags. That's what you are. Politicians? Yeah. Cal Fiola? Yeah. Alan Sylvia? Yeah. Man, it's kind of funny, though, that you guys come up with $1,000 for cats and money for lights for the bridge, but you couldn't come up with a money for an autism park that Mayor Paul Coogan promised. The people don't deserve being reelected again at all. And if you guys are reelected again, there's something wrong with the people in the city of Fall River. That's what it is. Outstanding. You have an outstanding politicians, Democratic politicians, scumbags. That's what you all are. Okay? All right? Let me tell you something. The independents do a lot better. Republicans do a lot better. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, Republicans do a lot better. Democrats, you guys are all, the Democrats are all scumbags. I don't care where and what side you're on. You're scumbags. Okay? You're all douche. That's what you guys are. Okay? The old thing is that, if you can't support an autism park and you got to give money for cats, cats go meow. These are human beings that we're talking about. A park for autism. Cats go meow when they're hungry. Yeah, I love animals, but we're talking about a park for an autistic young adults. Cal Fiola, scumbag. I don't care who's listening. Alan Sylvia, give $1,000 and denied an autism park. Wow. So you guys come up with money. How you guys are coming up with money for lights for a bridge? Oh, we got lights for a bridge. It's so beautiful. Lights for a bridge only comes once a year. And then you'll have an autism park that will last for decades. Fucking scumbags. Okay? Yeah, that's included Alan Sylvia. That's including Cal Fiola. Democratic scumbags. Independents do better. Republicans do better. I mean, at least the Republicans care about the autism community. Good gracious. Oh. Damn. Yeah, of course it would benefit the kids. Oh, I stand by the autism pocket would benefit the kids with autism and disabilities. Of course. I mean, one person just said it. I mean, it's she. I mean, she said it. I mean, I would have. You know how many? You know how. You know how many? I mean, well, the order, yeah. James, of course. Alan Silver literally, yeah. Well, Silver literally voted for the audit because of it's election time. Yeah. But Cal Fiola is against the audit. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, James. I agree with you 100%. My right, 100%, buddy. I agree with you. I mean, it. I mean, it's, I mean, how can you give $1,000 to cats, okay, and then deny an autism pot for that will last a decade, okay, decades to come for the next generation. How can you deny that? Kid the autism young adults, they need to be safe out of the environment from the rest of the regular kids. They need to be safe, and have peace for themselves. You know, and it's and I've always believed in it. Don't matter what the cost is. A lifetime park from from years to come. Yeah. And James, and I'm glad that you're on. I'm glad that you're here. Even if Alan Sylvia did, that's because it is as an election year. But he didn't. He did the right thing. Too bad this party is stripping his fundings for the autism park. Yeah. Oh, you know what? They're taking it out on. See, my problem is, okay, now they're taking it out on the autism, okay, community because of Alan Sylvia supports the audit, which is Alan Sylvia is doing the right thing. Okay, he's doing the right thing, but is he doing it to keep his seat, or he's just doing it because it's election year? We don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, so denied the funding for the autistic park. Okay, take it out on the autism community. Oh, I guarantee. I'll tell you. You know something? Once I'm out there and I have all these flyers out there, I'll guarantee that I'll have every single family, okay, every single family that has an autistic child will be right behind me with this. I would guarantee that. Okay. Once I pass those flyers out, it is so ridiculous. I don't understand it. They take away funding because Alan Sylvia supports the audit. But take away the funding and punish the autism community. Is that fair to them? It's not fair at all. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. You know, I showed my stepson, I showed Jake that. And, I showed Jake, and he's quite upset with it. You know what I'm saying? That they're not building that park. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? And I don't blame Jake at all. Okay. And anybody that's on the spectrum, I don't blame them at all for being upset. And you know something? They have the right to be upset. Okay. The ones that are on the spectrum, they have the right to be. You know what I'm saying? As well, I am upset too because they stripped the funding off of Alan Sylvia because Alan Sylvia supports the audit, which is Alan Sylvia has the right to support the audit. If he's for the audit, is he doing it because he wants to save his seat or because it's election day? I don't know. I don't know. Is he, because he's doing it to save his seat? I mean, we'll see. We will see during the election. I believe in November, when November comes. But I will actually be out there. I have 2 flyers here, and I will be making some more, and I will be out there advocating, live streaming, and advocating for this park. I believe that the autism community should have this park. I believe so. And I know for a fact that any family that has an autistic child or an autistic adult, I'm sure that they will all be on my side with this. Okay? I'm sure they will. Because, I mean, when you have an autistic a young adult come up to you and ask you, okay, hey, I heard that there was supposed to be a park, okay, that was supposed to be built for people with autism. I'm like, I mean, I didn't really know what to say, at that point. But I said, yes, there was. But from me to you, I am sorry that it didn't get built. Okay. It didn't get built. They denied the autism, and the kid that goes into Stop and Shop a lot, he cried. He said, he told his dad, he goes, how come we ain't get an autism park? I mean, that's a park for us to play in. The father didn't even know what to say. I guess, the father didn't even know what to say. I was like, like, sir, I mean, maybe you can, explain to him, why didn't we get the park? But even the father didn't even know why. You know what I'm saying? The kid started crying, started tearing about the park. I was like, oh man. But hey, and don't blame him at all. Don't blame him at all. I mean, it's sad, when you make a promise, you're supposed to keep it. Sometimes I honestly, want to say is that promises, could be broken sometimes, but don't punish the autism community because we have Alan Sylvia is supporting the audit. You punish, what you're doing is, Alan Sylvia can care less. You know what I'm saying? But you're punishing the autism community. You're punishing them, which is they don't deserve to be punished. They deserve to have a park to go and play in. Okay? So that way they're not bullied. But James, we talked about this park for a very long time. We did. We talked about it. I'm just as angry and upset because they took away funding from Alan Sylvia because of him supporting the audit. I'm just as upset. And I want to be upset because, my grandkids are going to ask one day, and I have his name is Mason, and he's on the autism spectrum. And I love my grandkid. I love him to death. Okay. Okay. And he's gonna, he's gonna ask questions one day, and he's gonna say, "Hey, Grandpa, how come we didn't, get the, autism park?" Well, because they decided to give $1,000 to cats before supporting the autism park. So they took away funding. So when they took away that funding, they're not punishing Alan Sylvia for it. They're punishing the autism community. That's what they're doing. And and when you punish you don't go and do that. Okay, you don't go and do that. Now you piss me the fuck off. Okay, piss me off. And when you punish you don't go and do that. Okay, you don't go and do that. Okay, you pissed. No, you pissed me off. That's what you did. Okay, because I'm gonna keep advocating for this park as much as possible. Yeah, I'm going to advocate for it, and I guarantee you, I will have family that has an autism son or an autism adult. I'll guarantee you, I will have a whole bunch of them families right on my side, helping me advocate for it. They will. They will. I'm trying. That is that, and I'll guarantee that because there is something that park should have already been built. That money should have already been there, but they come up with lights. They come up with $1,000 for cats. Support the veterans. That's fine. Support the veterans. That is fine. You can. The veterans too. You know what I'm saying? But cats, $1,000. Cats go meow. Dogs go roof roof. I'm talking about a lifetime autism park that should have been already built. That's what I'm talking about. A lifetime park. From one generation to the other generation, that the ones that have autism. And believe me, from DDS, from Community Connections, I will get funding for it. And I know that they will help fund that park. From DDS to Community Connections, believe it or not, I got a lot of pull. And if they see me doing this, believe me, all that money would go to the park. Believe me. Okay, all of it. Okay, every dollar that every dollar that comes in for this park, it will go to the park. Okay, and it will go to the park. That was promised by Mayor Paul Coogan. Okay, but Alan Sylvia supports the audit. So why punish the autism community because of Alan Sylvia supports the audit? Go, all right, so take away the funding. Support cats. Support cats. That goes meow. But don't support autism park that could last for a lifetime. From generations to come. Wow. It puzzles me a lot when stuff like this happens. They take it out on the kids because they don't like the audit because Cal Fiola, know why Cal Fiola and Michael Rogers won't support it? Because they're afraid that the audit might find the money that was misplaced, and they don't want to go to jail either for it. But I do support the audit. And you know something? I hope Cal Fiola does. And if money is being mismanaged from the state representatives and the state representative and governor, I hope you all get the book thrown at you because you deserve it. You deserve it because you're corrupt. I don't want to support the audit. There's a reason why they don't want it. Because know why? Because if they get caught, they could go to if money's being mismanaged by Cal Fiola and Governor Moore Healy and Michael Rodrigues, they could go to jail for a very long time. That's why they don't want the audit. But I think getting the audit would be a lot better. I would love it. I want to see. You know something? I want to see because because we all know that money's being mismanaged. So where are they coming up money for lights and $1,000 for cats and money for the veterans? Where's the money coming from? Okay, because you know why? Because as soon as that audit is approved, they don't want to be screwed, so they're gonna try to spend whatever they can. Hey, look, I put lights up over here, or I gave $1,000 to cats, or gave $1,000 to veterans. So where is the money? Where is the money? I'm sure that they're not taking it out of their own pocket. So where is the damn money? Where are they getting it from? Oh. Let's give $1,000 to cats and let's give $1,000 to veterans. Veterans, I don't mind. I don't care about the veterans. $1,000, the veterans deserve it. Okay. But cats, and lights on the bridge. Does that make any sense? No, it don't. That don't make any sense at all. Pretty sad, though it is. I'm just gonna say, it's James. It's pretty sad that that they're punishing the autism community because of Alan Sylvia supports the audit, which is Alan Sylvia has the right to. You know what I'm saying, I don't know if Alan Sylvia is doing it to keep his seat or because well, like you said, he's doing it because it's election day. That's why. So he risked. He took a risk, and and now. They took the money away for the autism park, and now they're punishing the autism community, which is not right at all. Not right. But if we keep on fighting and keep on doing what we always do, and we will succeed. Because remember, we are the people. Okay. We're the people that are in control, not government. We're in control. Okay, we're in control. Okay. Again, I've always said this: we don't work for government. Government works for us. What we say goes, and that's going to be the end of that. So it's either they do what we tell them to do, or they can get the hell out of office, and that's it. Okay, because it's not right though to take away and punishing the autism community because of an audit was being supported by State Representative Alan Sylvia. Okay, which is it's sad. It is. I would think that okay, so Alan Sylvia supports the audit. And and I was hoping that maybe the funding would still stand for the autism park. You know what I'm saying? For our autism community kids. Okay, so. But again, James, thank you for watching my show. I appreciate it. Something, and I don't know if if you were on a job or not, okay, or what you were doing, but today. But I like to get back. I like to get back to my shows, and and start doing my shows again because this was a interesting topic that you know, this was an interesting topic that that should have been prevented. That prevented. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I need the community to come together and help support this autism part. I mean, help out. I mean, show your support. And and let's help fight the good fight and see if we can get this pot going for these kids. These kids deserve it. So have a great day, everybody, and thank you, James. And I appreciate you watching. I don't know if I have anything else I wanna. Oh, okay. I wanna let you know that Cookashan Street is closed. The northbound traffic, the northbound traffic is going to Alden Street. The southbound traffic going up side streets. So Cookshan Street's blocked off right now. It may be blocked off tomorrow too, as well. So the northbound traffic is going up Alden Street and headed on Harrison Street and Jank Street. The SRTA bus did their routings. They went to they went down a side street towards the dollar store on the other side of the road there. So I don't know what street is that. So I didn't see it, but the northbound is going to Alden Street. The southbound is coming in from Pleasant and Cookashan Street and headed so so if you're driving up this way or even driving up here with a e-bike or any type of scooter, car, or whatever, you're not going to get by there. Because there's going to be actually a police officer in that area on both sides. So, but anyways, I just want to tell you that one. And let me see. Let me look at the 5-day forecast. I think let's see what the 5-day forecast looks like here. Let me see. Tonight, 66, 86. Friday, which is tomorrow, 70, 86, 65% chance. Saturday, 60% chance, 65, 81. Sunday, 62, 81. Monday, 62, 82. Tuesday, 68, 90s. Wow. Wednesday, 72, 87. Thursday, 68, 79. Friday, 40% chance, 66, 80. Next Saturday will be 65%, 62, 75 degrees those days. So that is your 5-day forecast. And it feels like 79. Winds are making it feel colder. +7. Let's see what the index. Visibility is 14. Perfectly clear view. So, but anyways, thank you, James, for watching again. I'm trying to do my live stream, but I have to get on my live stream. And we have to have some serious conversations about what's going on in our government. I mean, I like independently, but hey, guys, get out there and support the Autism Park. If you see me out there, please come out and join me out in the community to support an advocate for this community park because I believe that these autism young adults and autism kids, they should actually have it. So, and they deserve it. Okay. So take care, everybody. Have a great day. It was a great show tonight.